Welcome back to Almost a True Crime Podcast, a product of Bitch Pack Media. We are your hosts, Taryn and Madison. Listener discretion is advised due to the mature content and the amount of cuss words we say. You've been warned.
Hey guys,
Welcome back.
still here, still sniffling.
Still recording the same day still.
Did you just hear those noises
What noises?
from my throat and stomach at the same time?
No.
It's wild.
I'm very concerned that the room we're in is haunted. If you watch some of our videos, we have a lot of fucking orbs rolling around, and I don't ever see a lot of dust.
This very much gives off haunted house vibes.
It kind of does.
So, bat house, haunted house. Just...
Fuck that.
Is that like a brand new sweatshirt, or do you just never wear it?
No, I just never wear it.
Oh, I'm like, mine is like, don't turn it inside out like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's very worn.
No, I don't know if I've ever worn it. It's still nice and soft on the inside. We're talking about our merch. Old merch. Old merch, new merch. I literally almost can't even hear myself. I'm so
I can hear you perfectly.
fucked up. Okay, great. Perfect.
You're fucked up.
I'm so fucked up.
This is fucked up, dude.
Why? You sound like Justin Barry.
That's so funny.
That is funny. Hey, speaking of when this episode comes out, I think it's going to be the week of their wedding.
Oh my god, I was just looking at my fucking calendar yesterday. I'm like,
I know, I just tried to look for an outfit last night.
fuck. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. What the fuck am I gonna wear?
Yeah, this is a formal event that we've been invited to.
Where's my head at?
I don't know. I'm very excited.
I have to go shopping. I don't have any money. I'm gonna have to go stealing. Just joking.
5-finger discount.
I used to fucking, we all know.
We know.
That's fine.
We just have to get Kelsey on. So you could tell us the time that you robbed them all.
Robbed them all. When in their guns blazing, they had no chance.
They had no chance.
Hollister didn't stand a chance against us. I was poor. I couldn't afford that stuff. It's not my fault.
God, me either. I had to get it all from fucking Plato's Closet, and it was still so expensive.
I remember the one year, I think I got like $75 for Christmas from my grandma, and I bought one Hollister hoodie.
Oh my god. I bet you wear that shit all the time, though.
All the time. And it was like the most basic one.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
So funny. One thing.
Hindsight's 2020.
It always is.
I could have bought like a ton of thongs from Wet Seal.
You could have bought 75 thongs. The Wet Seal.
God, I remember when I first started buying thongs. Definitely no one was seeing them at that point.
No.
I felt hot.
Sexy.
I felt so sexy. I was the sexiest 12-year-old there ever was. I was joking. I don't know how. Oh, man, I was in like 7th grade.
The sexiest 12-year-old.
That's disgusting.
You are straight up. We are Degrassi.
Manny Santos all the
Manny
way.
and Emma. Because Emma was very ugly for a very long time.
Dude, Emma got so hot. And then
She
she got to
did.
fucking marry Spinner, so.
It all worked out.
All worked out. Spinner got hot, too. He used to be so fucking ugly.
That is a great television show.
Dude.
We watched them literally age.
So good. It is so good. The stories are great.
Craig on drugs.
Oh my god, Craig was a cokehead. He went crazy. He was bipolar.
Yeah. They were really dealing with real life situations.
Hazel would lie and tell everyone she was like Jamaican, but really she was, well, I think she was like Muslim.
Something.
She was so ashamed of it.
God. Now I want to watch Degrassi.
Emma almost got kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
She found out who her real dad was. He had a brain trauma. And he was in an institution.
Yeah. Yep, I remember those episodes.
Oh, if you have not watched Degrassi, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's on like Prime. Like it's you
on
could
something
definitely
for
watch
free.
it free.
Oh, God.
Should we do a Degrassi rewatch?
Should we start a Degrassi rewatch podcast? That'd be so fucking fun.
I don't think we could do it all in one. That's a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, we'd have to do one episode per episode.
You're right. Why not? We're already here.
Why the fuck not? Got a TV over there.
Oh my god.
We should just watch it and talk about it.
Let's table that.
Table that.
Okay.
We can get started.
Good idea.
So that we can be done.
You're going to run out of breath. So.
I'm going to run out of breath. So, I'm doing a case where if I don't know how to say the words, I know you will know how to say the words.
Oh.
Because I'm doing the duel of Hamilton and Burr today.
I've been waiting for this.
So after
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 dual commandments. I know all the rules. All right, here we fucking go.
You ready to party?
I am. I'm hyped.
So funny. So yeah, after I saw Hamilton, I was like, I have to actually find out what the fuck happened here.
I had no interest in like the actual real facts. The play was enough for me. I take that at face value. That is absolutely how everything happened.
Everything. We're so different.
Thomas Jefferson was black.
He was.
A black slave owner.
A black slave owner. I don't think that's right.
I don't think so either.
Okay, so basically Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr were political frenemies forever. We all know this. We all know Aaron Burr fatally shoots Alexander Hamilton in a duel. I know this from Drunk History. You know this from the musical.
Okay, but also, do you know, after I watched Hamilton, where I realized that I also knew this from...
What?
Have you ever seen the movie Big Daddy?
Yes.
Okay, Julian does that play where it's a play on the founding fathers. He's Benjamin Franklin, but before his scene, there's a boy that says, my name's Alexander Hamilton.
Oh my God.
Aaron Burr shot me.
You are so right.
I know. Like, after I heard Aaron Burr, I'm like, Aaron Burr shot me.
That's so...
And I just remember it so vividly from that movie.
I'm already out of breath.
Okay.
So I thought it would be fun to do the actual case. A lot of this comes from history.com and Encyclopedia Britannica online.
Ooh, solid info.
Some of it's word for word. Not much I can do there.
Nope.
Just a heads up.
We're not plagiarizing.
We're not.
We're not saying it's our words.
No, I'm not presenting this information to you as new. This has come from history.com. So, Alexander Hamilton was born on the Caribbean island of Nevis. Is that correct?
I don't know. I didn't know that part. I knew he was from the Caribbean.
One sentence in. Unclear.
He was a kid in the Caribbean.
He was. He
wished for a war.
No.
Oh, God. You fucked up with this, dude.
I should have done it last. He came to the American colonies in 1773 as a poor immigrant.
1773.
There is some controversy as to the year of his birth, but it was either 1755 or 1757. Nobody's really that sure.
Right.
In 1776, he joined the Continental Army in the American Revolution, and his
1776. York City.
I wish you watched Drag Race because.
Oh, did someone do a Hamilton thing?
No.
Oh,
but they do like a skit, and the whole time they're whispering Club 96, and that's what that reminds me of. Okay. So he joined the Continental Army in the American Revolution, and his relentless energy and remarkable intelligence brought him to the attention of General George Washington.
George Washington!
Who was my favorite.
Oh.
I think. I loved George Washington.
Outgunned! Outmanned! Outnumbered! Outplanned!
I have made grave mistakes.
I will be watching Hamilton today.
So George Washington took him on as an aide. 10 years later, Hamilton served as a delegate to the Constitutional Convention.
I was chosen for the Constitutional Convention.
God, every time I'm like, we're getting off the musical.
No,
we're not.
His whole life is in the show.
They didn't leave anything out, so clearly.
All of this is tracking. If you wanted me to be your fact checker, it's all adding up.
So, and he led the fight to win ratification of the final document, which created the kind of strong centralized government that he favored. In 1789, he was appointed the first Secretary of the Treasury by President Washington, and during the next 6 years, he crafted a sophisticated monetary policy that served the young U.S. government from a collapse. Saved. That's what I wrote, too. I don't know why I said that. Serving looks over here.
Served.
He's serving. I'm just really trying to survive.
Smells like new money, dresses like fake royalty.
Oh my God. Serving.
Dude, you don't, every single line is in my head. Every single one. I know all of it. That's if there was a gun to my head and I needed to recite a whole play, it would be Hamilton.
Just the whole goddamn
I would
thing.
live. I wouldn't even be nervous. Like, okay,
Not one beat of
I
sweat.
got it. I hope you have 2 hours.
With the emergence of political parties, Hamilton was regarded as a leader of the Federalists. Hamilton's son, Philip Hamilton, was killed in a duel at the Weehawken. Like it's a stage.
Weehawken?
Is it not Weehawken?
I don't know.
No.
It's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Everything's legal in New Jersey.
Watch the Jersey Shore, man.
Dude,
as an adult,
well, they be getting arrested.
They do be getting arrested.
God,
but
I'm
as
so
an
jealous.
adult, seeing the amount of like drugs they're on,
I know. That's what I keep thinking now. Like
that
watching,
never occurred to me.
I'm like, holy shit, they are coked out all the time.
I just thought they were drinking all night. Like, no, they're grilling burgers at 6:30 in the morning.
I wasn't aware like coke is a thing. People just do coke.
It's crazy.
But like everyone.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing. Nose beers are a thing. I never knew until almost my 30s.
Jersey fucking Shore. I just finished rewatching it actually. And the whole time I'm like, they're on like their drug rage. They're raged.
I saw, was it Jersey Shore or someone like the code word? Oh no, it was Vanderpump Rules. Someone, I don't know where I got, but like the code word was like wine and pasta.
But they were talking about nose beers.
They were talking about nose beers.
Jesus.
I know.
You realize
And
how naive
someone
you are.
said, okay. Someone said that whole
Sidebar.
That whole scene between Lala and James where she's like, oh, I ate a little bit of Raquel's pasta. It wasn't pasta. She did her coke.
It was drugs.
Yes.
I also read
Doesn't that make so much sense though?
Yes.
Because it was such a heated argument.
A fight.
And if you steal someone's bag, they gonna be pissed.
Wild.
So there you go. My sister is gonna be amazed.
Why?
I can't believe I haven't had that conversation with her because we love to say it's not about the pasta. Well, clearly it's not about the pasta.
It wasn't.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just trying to help you catch your breath.
Thank you.
That's why I can't drink coffee. I'm fucking hyped.
So, Hamilton's son Philip Hamilton was killed in a duel at Weehawken on November 23rd, 1801. This is only a couple...
George Speaker.
By George Speaker. I didn't even have that in here. Look at you.
Mr. George Speaker.
This is only a couple of years after Hamilton publishes the Reynolds pamphlet.
The Reynolds pamphlet. Have you read this shit?
In which he admits to an affair with a woman named Mariah Reynolds in order to prove he wasn't embezzling funds. This man saw two avenues to take, and he was like, I would rather people know I cheated on my wife than think for 1 second I perhaps embezzled money from this government.
Nope. He wanted to be...
He was like, I wasn't stealing funds. I was paying this man to let me bang his wife.
Literally.
It's not that big of a deal. We can all move on. And everyone was like, I don't perhaps think
James Reynolds found out that Alexander Hamilton was having an affair with his wife, and he's like, you know what? You can keep fucking her. I don't care. You just got to pay me. And that's what he did. He made what? Like quarterly payments to him.
Yeah. Like on the books
this
payments.
Was a thing.
It was so
wild.
Exact and like on time that it looked like embezzlement. Yep. Like he was consistently withdrawing funds.
Just little bits that no one would know.
So anyways, his wife, Eliza, is going through it at this moment. Her son died. Her husband is a cheater. The Eliza that we had was so good.
Phenomenal. I just can't imagine having pipes like that.
Me fucking
either.
either.
It's my fucking dream. I sing like I do. I pretend I do. Sometimes I even feel like I do.
Like you're really in it. Like
sometimes like me and my sister will be singing at the same time and we'll sync up and harmonize. And I'm like, wait a second. Was that good?
Wait a second.
I need to start recording us.
Was that
so
good?
I can like listen back and be like,
fuck.
wait a second. Do we have something here?
Oh my god. I don't think so.
Who knows?
Okay, so Aaron Burr was born into a prestigious New Jersey family in 1756. He was also intellectually gifted, and he graduated from the College of New Jersey, later Princeton, at the age of 17, which is wild because I had not even graduated high school at the age of 17.
I graduated high school the day after I turned 18.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You were young.
I was a young little baby.
I think my mom graduated when she was 17. Also. So her birthday's
We
in.
have so much in common. No.
I don't fucking know.
Birthday's in July. Oh, yeah, she probably did.
Yeah.
That's how, like, Jen,
Oh, yeah. Yep.
the twins, they were all 17. Kelsey was 18 at the very beginning of her senior year.
She was going to the clubs.
It's going to be
The
Brody.
clubs. He is gonna.
Great.
You're gonna have a time with that one. So, Aaron Burr joined the Continental Army in 1775 and distinguished himself during the Patriot attack on Quebec. A masterful politician, he was elected to the New York State Assembly in 1784 and later served as state attorney. So, let's get into where this all goes wrong. In 1790, Aaron Burr defeated Alexander Hamilton's father-in-law, General Philip John Schuyler, in a race for the U.S. Senate. If you watch Drunk History, this is exactly where it takes a turn. This was like the end.
Because Aaron Burr was also very shady about it. He changed his whole political party just to win.
And, like, they were friendly up to this point, I think.
Yes. They had like little
tiffs.
Squabbles.
Yeah. But they were, like, mostly
Tiffs.
friends. And then he's like, I'm sorry.
You did what?
What the fuck are you doing? That's my father-in-law. So this is really where they start to actually not like each other.
There's beef.
There is beef. So Hamilton's reaching ranks that Aaron Burr was trying to reach. Burr is getting a little jealous because Burr had basically been training and vying for the things Hamilton was reaching with half the training and education.
And Hamilton was a bastard orphan son of a whore.
Not one part of that is a lie. So this is obviously not the sole reason for this duel. I was going to tell you some more stuff that happened on the way to there, but really, in my opinion, is this turned from like an actual feud.
Yes.
It went from like a cute little rivalry.
Yeah, like
to,
you're
like,
annoying, I'm annoying. We just don't really get along, but like we could get a drink together.
Yeah, like Aaron Burr's like, we want the same things. I don't understand how you're getting the things I'm getting because you are the orphan, son, bastard, whore.
Correct.
So this is sort of where it turns. When Burr joined Thomas Jefferson's Democratic Republic ticket, the forerunner of the Democratic Party, as vice president in the 1796 election, Hamilton launched a series of public attacks against Burr, stating, I feel it is a religious duty to oppose his career. John Adams won the presidency, and in 1797, Burr left the Senate and returned to the New York Assembly. Another person who Hamilton had some disagreements with in the past was
Thomas Jefferson.
John
Jefferson.
Adams. No,
Both.
It was Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
They did not get along. It was well known from when they had a rivalry in George Washington's cabinet. Not homies, everyone knows
battle.
it. The cabinet battle. In the 1800 election, Jefferson and Burr became running mates yet again. Burr aided the Democratic Republic ticket by publishing a confidential document that Hamilton had written criticizing his fellow Federalist President John Adams. This caused a rift in the Federalists and helped Jefferson and Burr win the election with 73 electoral votes each. George Washington was strongly opposed to a two-party system because he felt they are, quote, are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambition, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to basically illegally take for themselves the reins of the government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion, which we are seeing.
Yes.
And that was
Correct.
like a big thing in history in general. Like everyone knows that George Washington never intended for the government to run this way.
Yep.
Because of exactly what he said and exactly is happening. Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and John Adams became early leaders of the Federalist Party.
Newspapers.
Thomas Jefferson and James Madison began the Democratic Republic Party, which Aaron Burr eventually joined. The Federalist Party was more popular in the northeastern states, while the southern states generally preferred the Democratic Republic Party. Okay, back to
They
the...
set out to write the Federalist Papers.
I said okay, and it sounded so much not like my voice. I was wondering why you were saying okay. It was me.
Start singing again.
Okay, back to the 1800 election, where Burr starts to hate Hamilton as much as Hamilton already hates him.
Yep.
So Jefferson and Burr end up tying in the Electoral College. Very, very rare. Maybe not so much in these olden days, but you would never see that again.
Yeah, that would never happen now.
There is like, it is possible that there is a way to even split it, yes. Because I think...
Okay, but it would never happen.
Never. You would have to literally... There's like There has to be only one way, and every state has to go that one way for it to, like...
That would
or
be
maybe,
insane.
I don't know, maybe there isn't. But I watch so much goddamn fucking CNN. They're always doing, like, the electoral map, and, like, if you get this, they could be like...
I don't understand the Electoral College, if I'm being totally honest.
I don't like the Electoral College. The Electoral College was invented... This is probably a lie. I'm just going to spew out some lies. Because, like, you physically could not count everyone's votes. It just wasn't possible. You couldn't get everyone's votes in time. Everyone was so spread out. There's no such thing as, like, voting machines. You had to like deliver votes on like a horseback mail service, whatever. So the Electoral College made sense. That doesn't make sense anymore. Whatever. Okay, so they tie. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr tie in the Electoral College in the 1800 election. The Democratic Republican Party planned to have 72 of their 73 electors vote for both Jefferson and Burr, while the remaining elector voting only for Jefferson. The electors failed to execute this plan, so Burr and Jefferson were tied with 73 votes each. Tied. Under the electoral procedure then prevailing, President and Vice President were not voted for separately. The candidate who received the most votes was elected President, and the second in line, Vice President. Which I always thought was so weird.
I know.
But it makes sense when you say it out loud.
Right.
Like, as a kid, that would make perfect sense to me. Like, yeah, 1 and 2. That makes absolute sense. The Constitution stipulated that if 2 candidates with an Electoral College majority were tied, the election would be moved to the House of Representatives. Guess who runs the House of Representatives?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Alexander Hamilton.
The Federalists, correct. They are in charge. Guess who the Federalists hate? Thomas Jefferson. They hate Thomas Jefferson. It wasn't just Hamilton who was not on Jefferson's side. It was really a lot of people. A lot of people did not like Thomas Jefferson.
No, because he spent all that time in France.
Yes, being a traitor. So it really, to this point, seemed like the House was going to give it to Burr. As we know from history, Aaron Burr was never president of the United States.
Correct.
After a remarkable 35 tie votes, a small group of Federalists changed sides and voted in Jefferson's favor, who they hated. Alexander Hamilton, who had supported Jefferson as the lesser of 2 evils, was instrumental in breaking the deadlock. It would be completely fair to say that Alexander Hamilton is the sole reason Aaron Burr was never president.
Correct.
So, if you're wondering why this man shot him.
He was extremely pissed.
So, based on the laws back then, Aaron Burr became vice president, but Jefferson grew apart from him, and he did not support Burr's renomination to a second term in 1804. Which you see in the musical. He's like, I don't have to have you here. Actually,
I'm the president.
Yeah, I'm in charge. We had a really good Thomas Jefferson, too.
Oh, yeah.
I just love it. Okay. Whether or not it was payback for stealing the Senate seat from his father-in-law or because Hamilton thought that Burr was too reserved and didn't stand for anything in particular, we will never know. However, they are full-blown motherfucking enemies now.
Absolutely.
Don't look at me. Don't breathe in my direction.
Hamilton just ruined Burr's life. Like, that was the end-all be-all for him.
He would have been president had Hamilton not been like,
no,
don't fucking do it. And Hamilton is a talker. He talked to all those people.
Yes.
Okay. This is not the last election that these two would be involved in. That year, 1804, when Burr was, like, not allowed to do his job, a faction of New York Federalists who had found their fortunes drastically diminished after the ascendance of Jefferson sought to enlist the disgruntled Burr into their party and elect him governor. So the Federalist Party was basically like, we made a mistake picking Jefferson. Like, we're very much struggling now. Like, the economy fucking blows. Everything sucks. So let's get Burr as our governor and just try and fix some of these financial problems, like where we are. Hamilton campaigned hard against Burr again, and Burr lost the Federalist nomination, and then running as an independent for governor, he lost the whole election. Again, probably mainly Hamilton's fault. In the campaign, Burr's character was savagely attacked by Hamilton and others. In a letter referenced in the Albany Register, it said, General Hamilton and Judge Kent have declared in substance that they looked upon Mr. Burr to be a dangerous man and one who ought not to be trusted with the reins of government. So Burr had enough. This is basically the 3rd election Hamilton has stolen out from under Burr.
Yes.
Like, had Hamilton just not talked, he could have gotten any one of these. And Hamilton has saw to it.
To anger, but I told the line.
So, after losing the election, he resolved to restore his reputation by challenging Hamilton to a duel, or an affair of honor, as they were also known as.
Do you want me to tell you about the 10 duel commandments?
No, I have some in here. I don't think they're the... I couldn't... He must have just literally made those up. Well,
no, it's true. They do it in Bridgerton, too.
Are they the same rules?
Yes.
Word for word.
I mean, they don't sing the same fucking song, but yeah, it's the same rules.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read them and you can tell me if you think it's a real rule.
You just don't want me to sing it, though?
I'm going to say no just because we don't have Disney Plus money.
Oh, fuck.
If they come after us.
God damn it.
So,
okay.
a code duello was not a law like a government would pass, but instead a set of basic rules that gentlemen would agree to follow when preparing for a duel. These rules were written by various people from the Renaissance through the 19th century, but in general, the rules during the 19th century included the following. A person can present a challenge for a duel following a public insult to their honor if it has offended them. The person who is challenged can publicly apologize, at which point the challenge is over, or they can select weapons for the duel.
Demand satisfaction.
The challenger would then select the time and the place.
Pick a place to die where it's high and dry.
Here we go. Both parties will select a second and a doctor to arrive with them at the locations. The seconds will act as go-betweens and will do their best to reconcile with the other party to see if an apology or agreement can be made. If not, the duel will commence. I'm going to be one. If there's 10 commandments, I'm going to be one short, so you're going to have to figure out what one we're missing.
Okay.
If one party does not arrive at the agreed time and place, they are considered a coward and the other party wins the duel. Dice are rolled by the seconds. Whoever wins a best of 3 contest with high rolls gets to select their pistol and shooting location first.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think these are as, like, ironclad. Because I was looking for, like, the 10.
The 10 duel
They were
commandments?
like, no, these are just, here are some rules. The parties stand approximately 20 paces apart. Oh. The seconds give a command of ready and then present. Upon announcing present, the parties may fire at each other. The doctors on site turn their backs on the duel so that they can have deniability if they need to discuss someone's wounds with the authorities.
Yep.
If both parties miss with their shots, they are given the opportunity to make an agreement or prepare for another shot.
Oh.
If one party is hit and the doctor deems them unfit to continue, the duel is over and the other party is victorious. That's all I had. Pretty much it. In June, the aggrieved Burr wrote a letter to Hamilton calling for an explanation. The two men engaged in a correspondence that ultimately resulted in Burr demanding that Hamilton deny that he had ever spoken ill of him. Hamilton felt that he could not comply without sacrificing his own political career, and although he opposed the practice of dueling, he felt he had to accept because he just possibly could not take back what he said about Burr because he meant it. He's like, well, no, I'm not going to do that because you are the person.
Is it true that, like, he sent, like, an itemized list of all the times they hadn't gotten along?
I think you can read this letter, and it's very long.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he was like...
very petty about
for
it.
For this, and this reasons.
Yeah.
We are going to shoot each other if you don't say sorry. Yes, that is true.
I the honor to be...
Okay. Affairs of honor were commonplace in America at the time, and the complex rules governing them usually led to an honorable resolution before any actual firing of weapons. So, like, this, it's very rare that it would reach this point.
Most they would talk it out, figure it out amongst themselves.
Yeah, which Hamilton had done several times before this. He had talked himself out of many duels. No such recourse was found with Burr, like we know, however, and on July 11th, 1804, the enemies met at 7 a.m. at the dueling grounds near Weehawken, New Jersey, the same exact spot where Hamilton's son had died defending his father's honor in 1801. This is only years later.
Yes, it's so sad.
It's not that long. I did cry when they did the Philip one.
Oh my God.
And Eliza was crying over his body. Cried.
I don't know French, so I just make up what they're saying.
Okay, so duels were illegal in both New York and New Jersey, but were dealt with less harshly in New Jersey, so that's why they agreed to meet at Weehawken on a scheduled ledge above the Hudson River. Burr arrived at Weehawken first at 6:30 a.m. Hamilton landed some 30 minutes later. Both men were accompanied by their seconds, so individuals who were responsible for the duel being conducted honorably. Hamilton's second was Nathaniel Pendleton. I almost said Nathan Pennington.
That's
Andrea's
so
husband.
funny because that's like what I thought you were about to say. Like, wait, this sounds familiar.
No, Nathaniel Pendleton would be the one, not my friend Andrea's husband. He was a Revolutionary War veteran and a Georgia District Court judge, while Burr had William P. Van Ness, a New York City federal judge. In addition, Hamilton also brought Dr. David Hosack, a professor of medicine and botany at the Columbia College, which is obviously just Columbia University now. By lot, Hamilton picked the side from which he would fire, though he had distinguished himself in the Continental Army as he was General George Washington's most trusted aide during the war. It was unlikely that Hamilton had shot a pistol since the Revolution.
Yeah. So
this is not something he's familiar with.
Right.
Burr had also been a Revolutionary War hero, but whether
His
or not...
friends will tell you he's a terrible shot. That's what you're getting at.
But whether or not he had been able to shoot during the war, there was evidence that he had been practicing his pistol marksmanship at his Richmond Hill estate for some time in advance of the duel. So basically saying it's unlikely either of them were very great shots in the Revolutionary War at all, but Burr had been practicing.
Burr did not want to die.
No. As he stood facing Burr, Hamilton aimed his pistol and then asked for a moment to put on spectacles. Hamilton, however, had already told his confidants and made clear in valedictory letters that he intended to throw away his shot, possibly by purposefully shooting wide of Burr. It was very hard for me to say. Possibly by purposefully. Okay. It wasn't that hard. I don't know why I struggled. And I mean, by all accounts, historians say that Hamilton looked like he was definitely going to shoot this man.
Yeah.
He was putting on his glasses. He was checking all of the gear guns, all of that, making sure it worked. Like, in this bitch, looking at it. For a man who had already decided that he was going to throw away his shot, you would have literally never known. He was not acting like it at all. And if I may quote Lin-Manuel Miranda from my favorite drunk history episode ever, Burr was the cautious one who never let his opinion be known, and Hamilton was the reckless one who let his opinion be known about everything. In the one moment when it mattered most, Hamilton was cautious and Burr was reckless. Alexander Hamilton drew his gun and shot his shot far above Burr's head, and Burr drew his gun and shot Hamilton between his ribs, and the bullet lodged in his spine. Burr apparently began to move toward Hamilton, perhaps with a look of regret on his face, but Van Ness quickly spirited him away, obscuring his face from potential witnesses. It is entirely uncertain who fired first, as both seconds' backs were to the duel in accordance with the prearranged regulations so that they could testify that they saw no fire. As much research to determine the actual events of the duel, historian Joseph Ellis gives his best guess. So people study this shit.
Yeah.
He said, Hamilton did fire his weapon intentionally, and he did fire first, but he aimed to miss Burr, sending his ball into the tree above and behind Burr's location. In doing so, he did not withhold his shot, but he did waste it, thereby honoring his pre-duel pledge. Meanwhile, Burr, who did not know about the pledge, did know that a projectile from Hamilton's gun had whizzed past him and crashed into the tree to his rear. According to the principles of the duel, Burr was perfectly justified in taking deadly aim at Hamilton and firing to kill. Because it's not like they show it in the play, and I think they show it on Drunk History the same way. Hamilton did not fire above himself.
Above into the sky.
No, he fired toward Burr, just very far off.
Huh.
So to Burr...
But really, how do you know that he did that on purpose?
Exactly. So to Burr, he's like,
he just tried to shoot me.
That was a really bad shot, and he is perfectly justified in then killing him, which is like the whole problem. So the doctor that Hamilton brought, Hosack, wrote his account on August 17th, about 1 month after the duel had taken place. He testified he had only seen Hamilton and the 2 seconds disappear into the woods, heard 2 shots, and rushed to find a wounded Hamilton. He also testified that he had not seen Burr, who had been hidden behind an umbrella by Van Ness. He gives a very clear picture of the events in a letter to William Coleman. When called to him upon receiving the fatal wound, I found him half sitting on the ground, supported in the arms of Mr. Pendleton. His countenance of death I shall never forget. He had at that instant just the strength to say, "This is a mortal wound, doctor." When he sunk away
he knew he was going to die.
He did. And became to all appearances lifeless, I immediately stripped up his clothes, and soon I ascertained that the direction of the ball must have been through some vital part. His pulses were not to be felt, his respiration was entirely suspended, and upon laying my hand on his heart and perceiving no motion there, I considered him as irrevocably gone. I, however, observed Mr. Pendleton that the only chance for his reviving was immediately to get him upon the water. We therefore lifted him up and carried him out of the wood to the margin of the bank, where the bargeman aided us in conveying him into the boat, which immediately put off. During all this time, I could not discover the least symptom of returning life. I now rubbed his face, lips, and temples with the spirits of hartshorn, applied it to his neck, breast, and the wrist and palms of his hands, and endeavored to pour some into his mouth. Horsack goes on to say that Hamilton had revived after a few minutes, either from the hartshorn or fresh air.
What the fuck is hartshorn?
I don't know. I meant to look it up and I forgot. He finishes his letter. Soon after recovering his sight, he happened to cast his eye upon the case of pistols, and observing the one that he had in his hand lying on the outside, he said, "Take care of that pistol. It is undischarged and still cocked. It may go off and do harm. Pendleton knows that I did not intend to fire at him." Mr. Pendleton said yes, understanding his wish. "I have already made Dr. Hosack acquainted with your determination as to that." He then closed his eyes and remained calm, without any disposition to speak.
I wonder if it's like milk of the puppy.
What the fuck?
Milk of the puppy.
I don't know what that is.
Game of Thrones, you dip.
Oh, okay. He then closed his eyes and remained calm, without any disposition to speak, nor did he say much afterward, except in reply to my questions. He asked me once or twice how I found his pulse, and he informed me that his lower extremities had lost all feeling,
My God.
manifesting to me that he entertained no hopes that he should long survive.
Just smother me then.
Hamilton survived for roughly 31 hours, mostly in the presence of his family, before he died on July 12th, 1804. His death was met with an outpouring of grief, especially from his beloved wife, Eliza. He was buried in the Trinity Churchyard Cemetery in Manhattan. Hamilton wrote a letter before the duel titled Statement on Impending Duel with Aaron Burr. They have come to the conclusion that he probably wrote this the night before the duel. Again, it's hard to say. In which he stated that he was strongly opposed to the practice of dueling for both religious and practical reasons. "I have resolved," it continued, "if our interview is conducted in the usual manner and it pleases God to give me the opportunity to reserve and throw away my first fire, and I have thoughts of even reserving my second fire." So he always had plans to throw away the first one, but again, they would have...
Wait to see what would happen.
If Burr missed and they got to do a second one, he's like, "I'm even entertaining the idea of throwing away the second one, even though that would have meant that Burr already shot at him."
Yeah.
Hamilton regained consciousness after being shot and told Dr. Hosack that his gun was still loaded and that Pendleton knows I did not mean to fire at him. This evidence is for the theory that Hamilton intended not to fire. A more sinister theory is that it is true that Hamilton intended not to fire, but did so in a way to ruin Burr by finally letting Burr kill him. In that theory, it is Hamilton did everything he could to make Burr believe Hamilton was going to shoot him, which he did.
I don't think he wanted to die.
Putting on his glasses, checking his gun intently, all of that to ensure whatever Burr did was lethal. He does this knowing at home he has a pre-written letter saying that he accepted the duel but never intended to shoot Burr, and correctly predicted he would waste his shot. People argue that if Hamilton truly wanted to throw away his shot in a way where Burr would know what he was doing, he would have wasted his shot into the ground instead of shooting past Burr, where to Burr...
Shoot into the ground? That's not safe. I mean, back then, guns were a lot different, I guess.
Yeah, it's like throwing a fucking cannonball.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if I believe that Hamilton sacrificed his life just to make Burr look like an asshole.
No, I don't think that either.
A lot of historians do, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like this is the one final thing to just really fucking nail ya.
Well, just because he wasted his shot in such a weird way to waste a shot.
Like, he did not make it very clear that he was throwing away his shot
at Burr. But in a way where, looking back on it, you're like, of course he didn't mean to shoot him. Look how fucking far away that was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe it, but...
Interesting.
On the other hand, by all accounts, Aaron Burr went there with the intent on killing Hamilton. There was no...
Yeah, he was
there for the real deal.
He was dueling.
Yeah. The afternoon after the duel, he was quoted as saying that he would have shot Hamilton in the heart had his vision not been impaired by the morning mist. He was like, I would have shot that motherfucker harder.
Yeah.
No.
I know he's dead, but I could have killed him more.
Yeah.
He could be deader.
He could be more dead. If I want to make him
not
more dead.
Not dead enough.
English philosopher Jeremy Bentham met with Burr in England in 1808, 4 years after the duel, and Burr claimed to have been certain of his ability to kill Hamilton. Bentham concluded that Burr was, quote, little better than a murderer.
Damn. True.
Although Burr had hoped to restore his reputation and political career by dueling Hamilton, he effectively ended both of them.
Yep.
Arrest warrants were issued for Burr, whom many viewed as a murderer, and he fled to Philadelphia, though he was never tried for Hamilton's death. Instead, he helped plan an invasion of Mexico in order to establish an independent government, and he was also possibly involved in a plot to encourage the West's secession. In 1807, Burr was arrested and put on trial for treason for
oh my God.
trying to steal land.
Downward spiral.
He down bad.
He was like, you know what? I'm not going to be president. I'm going to kill Alexander Hamilton, and then I'm just going to fuck everything up.
100%. Although acquitted, he remained under a cloud of suspicion and distrust, facing public condemnation.
Condemnation, yes.
Oh, okay. He fled to Europe. While in Europe, he again unsuccessfully plotted to take territory in North America, eventually returning to the United States, a fugitive from debtor's prison, eventually returning to a private life.
Debtor's prison?
Not real no more.
Not real.
Not going to debtor's prison. Eventually returning to a private life in New York, practicing law, the murder charges against him forgotten. He died at 80 years old in 1836, essentially a forgotten man.
Yep.
And that is actually what happened. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. I mean, it's not like super far off, really.
No.
You missed some key details.
Oh, I did.
But, like, whatever. Like, Aaron Burr also had an affair with a British soldier's wife.
Yeah.
And then had a daughter. That could also not be real. It's in the play, so.
It has to be.
You can't tell me that that's fake.
Lin-Manuel Miranda wouldn't do us dirty like that.
Wow. Aaron Burr. Fucked his life up.
He did. He thought, like, all right, I'm going to make you apologize for what you said.
See, it's so funny in the play, they make you think he regrets it.
I know.
They're like, he was filled with remorse.
I don't think that motherfucker was.
No. Fuck no. He said, I could have killed him more.
And then he tried to overthrow the United States government.
It's like, fuck all of this, actually.
Yeah. Okay. If you can't join him, beat him.
Or kill him.
Or kill him. Or just fucking kill him.
Can't beat him, kill him. That's a good one.
He thought he was going to be like this wonderful footnote.
I know. Everyone was going to be like, well, Hamilton's not here anymore. We might as well like Burr.
That's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Wow. I loved this. Should I start studying history? No, I'm just kidding.
It's so fun, though.
No, it's not. If there's songs, yeah, cool. I'm into it. I can't read that. I wouldn't have retained any of that information.
None of it?
Nope.
That's so funny. We are so different.
I know. That's what makes us so much the same. Should we get in gang tattoos?
Probably, honestly. All right.
That's a piece so bad.
All right. We're gonna record 2 more after this. So for the next 2 weeks, we're still gonna sound exactly like this.
Yep.
See you on the Peach-Tron Friday. Check out Lady and the Countess, Bitch Pack, all of that.
All the shit.
Just all our endeavors, please.
Yes, please. Please. Just kidding. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at AlmostPod. If you want an additional episode every week, you can find us at Patreon at AlmostPod.
If you have a case you want us to cover, throw it in a review on Apple Podcasts. You can find merch and all other information at bitchpackmedia.com. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.